Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of True Crime Time for Wednesday, January the 29th, 2025. And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cindy Overton.
And we got to fix this squeaking chair.
I was literally going to start with that. We have office chairs in deer stands that have been there for over 20 years.
That don't squeak.
That do not squeak.
Yeah.
And they live out there all year.
Yeah.
And this has been in an office and it squeaks.
Yeah. We'll get it fixed, y'all.
Sorry.
Have to put up with it for one more episode.
At least.
At least. Or one more episode. And I'll get some.
I have WD-40 inside and I have screws.
Is there anything more aggravating in the world than that sound?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm sure it is. Don't tell them. So, y'all, let's roll with some true crime time for Hump Day Wednesday. What do you have for us, Miss Cindy?
I have Miss Cindy. Is that what you called me?
You hear my chair squeaking? I can't hear you. Yeah, I did call you Miss Cindy.
I am going to start with another star. Yesterday I talked about a producer, in quotes.
That dude was no star. He was an aspiring producer.
Well, the model, she was a well-known model.
How do you know that? You just made that up. Have you seen her anywhere? Do you know? I mean, you watch all that Hollywood shit.
Well,
had you seen her?
No.
Okay.
So today I'm starting off with, do you watch Mob Wives?
I've never watched the Mob Wives. I know everything about the mob, but no, I've not watched Mob Wives. Because to me, that's just a spinoff of Beverly Hills and Los Angeles and Miami and New York and wherever the fuck else the shows that you watch are.
Yeah. Mob Wives star Natalie Donato is reported missing by her family.
Really?
So her mother, Denise Fuaco, said that the VH1 alum looked nervous the last time they spoke via FaceTime. Now they've determined that she is missing after failing to catch 2 flights home, according to her family.
Right.
So after she was on VH1, she, is more known for being on Mob Wives. The reality television star, who was 44, joined VH1 in season 5 and is currently the subject of a missing persons case as of Tuesday, January 21st. According to TMZ, Natalie's family contacted authorities when she failed to catch 2 separate flights home to Florida, one being on January 5th. The Los Angeles Police Department confirmed that a missing person report was taken for Natalie, but did not immediately offer additional details. Natalie's mother, Denise, said that her last conversation with her daughter was a FaceTime, and it was a week prior. And during the call, Natalie did not disclose her whereabouts and rushed off the phone while looking nervous and distressed. When Denise tried to contact her daughter again, called both her daughter's cell phones, I guess she has 2 cell phones, she did not receive an answer. Denise added that her daughter had seemed distant for the past month, and not knowing where Natalie is has her worried, sick, and unable to sleep. She added that a friend of Natalie's, known just as Ben, said the Mob Wives alum contacted him via WhatsApp recently to ask for money for a plane ticket to Florida, but she never arrived. In the television personality's last social media post, she seemed to be in good spirits. And she has, in quotes, "Not bad for 44. I love me some me." She captioned a photo of herself smiling while out on the town, sitting in a matching black set and thigh-high boots. "It's not my birthday. I'm just feeling myself. Dropped 10 pounds, hit that goal weight," she continued in another post, December 12th of 2024. "Getting older is a blessing. Can't believe I made it this far. I'm embracing my age because it's me. It's a badge of honor to have made it to 44. But she's still
missing. I wonder if she has
no
cement
leads.
shoes on.
I know.
Mob Wives.
Right.
leads you to believe it could be something.
I know.
I haven't watched it, but maybe she spoke too much or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it tracks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I guarantee you everybody's a suspect. Maybe she'll turn up alive in Iceland or something like that other lady did.
I hope.
But she was rocking it and feeling it, and now she is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, she will be found alive.
I hope she's safe.
Now, let's do... It's time for Family Matters. Wow, here goes another lovely family story. And we're going to Utah. And this kid, his name was Eric Bertelson. And cops got to his house. And I'll tell you why in a second. But the cops got to his house. And guess what they saw when they got there?
No idea.
Eric was busy. He was busy stabbing his parents to death inside the home. Yep. Pictures so you can see. I know everybody else can't see it. No. So the Utah man, Eric, when the cops got there and they saw him stabbing his parents to death, what did they do? They did what they should have done, and they killed his ass dead. And he was stabbing his parents to death.
Right.
So you went like, stop stabbing your parents.
Yeah.
And then, no, motherfucker, I'm not stopping. And they shot him dead. So police in West Valley City, Utah released their body camera footage on Monday that showed Eric Bertelson repeatedly stabbing one of his parents on the floor of their basement on New Year's Day. When officers entered and demanded he drop the knife, Bertelson, who was 35 years old, he did not comply. And officer then fired 2 shots, killing the Utah man, who fell forward over the bodies of his parents on the ground. This all on the body camera footage. Now, Bertelson's parents, Terry Bertelson, 63, and Carrie Bertelson, 67, were pronounced dead at the scene. Officers arrived at the West Valley City home around 5:20 p.m., shortly after dispatchers received a 911 call from the house in which the caller could be heard screaming before not responding to the dispatcher's questions. So they call 911, what's your emergency? They can hear the screaming. Nobody was there. So I guess one of his parents did it. But it said the dispatcher heard a commotion on the line, but couldn't collect information on the caller. And afterwards, the chief of police said the dispatcher left the line open and sent officers to the home. Now, KSL TV reported earlier Monday that police learned of a confrontation between the son and his parents, though investigators have not made clear what Bertelson's motive may have been in stabbing his parents to death.
Life insurance?
I have no idea. Who fucking knows? KSL TV reported that the 35-year-old Bertelson had a lengthy criminal history, with this most recent arrest occurring on December 22nd of 2024. So just right before this. And guess what he was arrested for then?
Robbery.
Well, he was running down a local road in his underwear and later told police he had used a lot of meth.
Oh, gosh.
Fucking winner.
Don't do meth.
Yeah. KSL TV also reported that Bertelson's son had previously been convicted on 2 counts of aggravated assault, and he spent 9 months in the Salt Lake County Jail. The outlet reported that Bertelson had threatened to kill people at a party he was hosting at his parents' house in 2019, and he was convicted of kidnapping in 2020 after threatening to kill his then girlfriend and not letting her leave his parents' house. This is just freaking flyer. So the West Valley City Police Chief Colleen Jacobs said at a Monday press conference that police had been sent out to the home on previous occasions. She called the incident a tragedy. She said, I see a tragedy with the parties involved and for the officers involved as well. It was a very traumatic event for the officers, Jacobs added, that they are pulling through.
At what point Does a frequent flyer just stay in?
I don't know, man. There's so many that slip through the system, slip through the cracks, different judges, different jurisdictions. I mean, we talked about that asshole in the last story, got 21 years in Texas for raping an 8-year-old, and he's out. And I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. You know, unfortunately, our prisons are overcrowded, and they're letting people go to prison, a lot of them, and they act so good and sweet. And like, I think they said David Constance is a preacher man. No, not him. The one from Monsters. What was his name? With the thick glasses and the squash. Anyway, he's a preacher man up in Angola, right? Yeah. Preaching the word. Yeah. Well, you beat nudity to death. 57 blows to the head, whatever. I don't know. They get in there and they put on the face, and at some point the system says, oh yeah, it must have worked for him. Let's give him a shot.
You want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject, or do they need a challenge to keep them engaged? IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies, and adapts to each child, meeting them at their personal level. As a homeschool parent, I can tell you that IXL has been life-saving for my son, WL. He uses IXL every day, and it allows me to tailor his learning experience based on his specific skills, not just his grade level. If he needs support, IXL finds his current level and helps him build up to where he needs to be. And in areas where he's advanced, IXL propels him forward without any setbacks. What I love most is that IXL uses visuals in its questions and lessons, which really helps WL learn math and science better since he is a visual learner. The interactive practice problems and educational games make learning fun and engaging. With IXL, school is a positive, fun experience. WL enjoys earning awards in the educational games. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve in performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Real Life, Real Crime listeners can receive an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to access the most effective learning program at the best price.
And then they get out and release to the parole officers who are overworked and underpaid, and some slip through the cracks.
I know.
Way it happened.
It does happen way too often. But
it's time for Worldwide Crime.
A man in England has pleaded guilty to killing his ex-girlfriend and her sister. Do you know what weapon he used?
I'm going to be creative and say a bowling ball. I have no idea.
A crossbow.
Oh, shit. Well, got one of those.
As well as murdering their mother with a knife.
Nice.
So on Wednesday, January 22nd, Kyle Clifford, who's 26 years old, appeared via video link at Cambridge Crown Court from London's Belmarsh Prison. The Cambridge Crown Court confirmed that the suspect pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder, as well as admitting to 1 count of false imprisonment and the possession of 2 offensive weapons.
Because guns are outlawed, and I guess a knife and a crossbow.
Yep.
Yeah, offensive weapons.
Following the killing of BBC racing radio commentator John Hunt's wife, Carol, who was 61, and their 2 daughters, Hannah, who was 28, and Louise, who was 25. And he killed them on July 9th of 2024.
Look, crossbow is not like a pistol where you can just pick it up and just squeeze and go away. You got to cock that motherfucker.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, it's fucking tough. That's one of the reasons that I don't hunt with mine as much as I do. I mean,
it's not like a compound bow where...
no, compound bow is easier.
That's what I'm saying.
Crossbow, you got a cocking mechanism, or you got to stand on it and pull that. I mean, it's hard.
Right.
And so then you got to put they call them bolts, not arrows. You got to put your bolt in it. And so that dude had it on his mind.
He had it on his mind, and he killed 2 with the crossbow. And then I guess he just got tired and grabbed the knife. I mean, which is also,
I'm pretty sure if I'm in the room and motherfucker shoots one person with a crossbow, and I'm lucky enough not to have been shot first, I'm using the oldest defense known to man. If I don't have a weapon, I'm running. And then they shoot the second one, and probably the third one was like, holy fuck, this is actually going on. And he used the knife.
Well, he's got 1 count of false imprisonment, so I'm assuming that
it's not letting somebody leave.
Right, right. So they might not have had the opportunity to run. Maybe they were tied to something, locked to, I don't know. But the attack took place at the Hunts family home in Hertfordshire town of Bushey in the east of England. And Clifford of North London will stand trial at the same court later this year after being accused of raping Louise. The Cambridge Crown Court confirmed that Clifford had pleaded not guilty to rape, slating that the trial was set for March 3rd. He's a former member of the Queen's Dragoon Guard, and he actually appeared via video link in a wheelchair during that court appearance. He underwent life-saving surgery after he was found with injuries from the attack following a 22-hour manhunt. The news comes after an inquest into the deaths began on July 30th, and the court heard that Hannah was still alive with the crossbow bolt in her chest when police arrived at the property.
Louise.
Goodness.
I think I'd rather be stabbed than shot with a crossbow.
Hannah also texted an unnamed individual saying she's been tied up and had asked them to call the police.
Yeah.
She also stated that the suspect was still in the house.
She called somebody and asked them to call the police?
She texted somebody.
Okay. I guess.
And
text 911.
And asked them to, she said tied up, and then asked them to call the police. Yeah, she should have just, but the previous hearing also heard that Hannah managed to call the police herself and give her address, but the call ended up cutting out. Carol died from stab wounds to her chest and abdomen in the attack, while Hannah and Louise died from the crossbow bolt injuries. John Hunt and his surviving daughter, Amy, spoke out about the attack in a shared statement on Facebook, and they just said, "The devastation that we are experiencing cannot be put into words. We would like to thank people for their kind messages and for the support we have received in recent days. These have provided great comfort to us, for which we are grateful. As you can imagine, this is an extremely difficult time for us, and we need time and space to come to terms with what has happened and start the grieving process. While this is happening, we would ask that our privacy and that our wider family and relations be respected at this time. Thank you."
It's crazy. I don't know. I'm rethinking my knife versus crossbow. I think I would rather be killed by a crossbow. I don't know. It's bad shit. I don't know. Let's do this.
It's time for Worldwide Crime.
Continuing on the story, and you don't even know about this yet. We talked about the fire at the hotel at the ski resort in Turkey, right? And I told you that it's some kind of crime.
Right.
And guess what?
Yes.
Guess what? It turns out that it was a crime. Now, 4 people have been arrested in connection with a fire at the ski resort in northwestern Turkey that killed at least 76 people and injured at least 51. That was, like we told you, on Tuesday, January 21st. Now, the owner of the hotel, the Grand Cartel Hotel, is one of the 4 that got arrested.
What?
And that's right. And this according to the Turkish Minister of Justice. The blaze started at around 3:30 a.m. local time Tuesday morning at the establishment in Bolu provinces in whatever mountain area. Witnesses and officials described a horrific scene of people jumping out of windows. I saw a father with his baby in his arms, asking for pillows so he could throw down his son. That is what one of the hotel employees told the news agency IHA. Luckily, he waited for the emergency services who saved them. The employee, who did not provide his name, said 2 women on the top floor, which was hosting students, jumped out and died. My wife smelled the burning. The alarm did not go off, one of the guests at the hotel told the news agency. We tried to go upstairs, but couldn't. There were flames. We went downstairs and came outside. Now, people on the upper floors were screaming. They hung down sheets. Some tried to jump. Now, L.M. Centric, another guest, said she was able to escape with her daughter, but her husband was stuck. That's crazy, right? That he was reportedly able to jump from the window to safety of a roof, right?
Yeah.
The hotel had more than 230 guests at the time of the fire, and it wasn't immediately clear if any U.S. citizens were at the resort or were affected by the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the U.S. consulate in Istanbul did not mention any such information in its latest statement. A cause for the fire has not been announced as of the publishing of this report. But the Bolu governor, Abdul Aden, said it likely broke out in the restaurant section and spread. Now, the distance between the hotel and the city center, as well as the frigid weather, slowed the firefighters' response to the scene. And nearly 270 emergency service personnel did respond to the scene. The Turkish president has announced a national day of mourning for Wednesday, while reiterating that those responsible will be held accountable. He said every stage of the investigation is carried out with great care and sensitivity. But we don't know yet, y'all, who the other 4 or who the other 3 were that were arrested. But look at it. There's the hotel on fire.
Mm-mm.
And we told you it had to be something bad.
Absolutely.
And probably a negligent homicide. But 4 people have been arrested. So,
Well, that's good. I mean, at least
somebody's got to be held accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the last time you heard 76 people killed in one building.
And 50
something injured.
And then so could the hotel owner be arrested just for, this is Turkey.
It could be for fire exits being blocked. It could be for, kitchen equipment, sprinklers not maintained, the alarms not going off.
Right.
And a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
So probably he got arrested. I would assume a manager and whoever else is responsible.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those people, you go stay at, how many hotels have we stayed in? And you think that you're safe and all that.
I know.
And just like on Courtney Coco's case, not always so, because someone got into my room and left a ball of pubic hairs on my pillow.
Yes, they did.
They should be held accountable. I guess they are. I don't know. Let me ask. Does Turkey have the death penalty?
Here's what I found.
Nope. Cannot be reinstated in Turkey. The death penalty cannot be reinstated.
Goodness gracious. You're responsible for 70 people dying, and
I'm sure it probably wasn't a premeditated thing, but I don't know. That's a lot of people.
If you're
It's
not,
a horrible. It's not like they died in a bus crash.
Yeah.
And burned to death, and they like that one girl who had time to call her daddy. They knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't know what the laws are over there, but we have to have the emergency exits. You have to have that on the hotel doors where your nearest flight of stairs is.
And they can't be blocked. And,
Right.
And all
Yeah.
that stuff.
So I don't know if
alarms have to work.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell you the times that I've been in hotels all over the country and the alarm goes off in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's a false alarm.
Yeah.
And most of the time I didn't even get up, but whatever.
Yeah. Was it Vegas or Biloxi one time when one went off?
Yeah. And then our hotels have like the light in the room that flashes and the alarm is loud as fuck. It's not like you're going back to sleep.
No, you're not. But you're just kind of sitting there waiting, going,
Yeah, right.
And then inevitably, thank goodness, it's always been a false alarm. I don't know. Well, I've got a cold case for you.
Okay.
So this is a story of a woman in Florida,
All right.
and she went missing in 2006.
Okay.
Her name was Jennifer Kesse. She was last heard from on January 23rd, 2006, and her loved ones are still continuing to search for her 2 decades later.
Right.
She seemingly had it all. She was happy. She had a boyfriend. She had just gotten back from vacation from like St. Croix,
Living her
and
best life.
she was doing great. And she had a great job, great friends and family, but she disappeared literally without a trace. So at the time she went missing, she was 24 years old, and she was a recent graduate of the University of Central Florida. And she had gotten a very good job working for a timeshare company. She had already purchased her first home, which was a condo.
That's great at 24,
Right? But on the morning of January 24th, 2006, a few days after returning from a trip to St. Croix with her boyfriend, she didn't show up for work.
Always happens.
And coworkers, of course, knew it was out of character for her to not reach out, so they contacted her parents.
Okay.
Her parents are Drew and Joyce Kesse. When they couldn't get in touch with their daughter, they obviously knew something was wrong and immediately drove to her place. Shortly after they reached the condo complex, they obviously discovered she was missing. Her car was gone, but her condo was left as if she was like gotten up, got ready for work.
Right.
Like normal stuff, like outfits were still laying on the bed.
Right.
Her pajamas were laying on the floor in the bathroom. Her, just like a
She just
typical getting ready for work
wasn't
scene.
all tore up or anything.
The only thing, even a damp towel was on the bathroom floor.
Right.
All that was missing were her keys, cell phone, purse, and iPad, and all of those things have never been found. Meanwhile, her car was discovered a mile down the road, abandoned outside of another apartment complex on the same day she went missing.
Okay.
Her family and a team of investigators have spent the last 19 years looking for leads in hopes of finding her.
Good for them, because so many families give up.
And they obviously each time have come up empty-handed.
Right.
But despite having no known suspects and only grainy video footage of a potential person of interest, they have vowed never to give up on her. We don't care when, we don't care how, and frankly, we don't care who. We just want our daughter back, for the good or the bad.
Right. So at least give her a burial.
Exactly. We miss her every day. The question is, what happened to Jennifer Kesse? And here's everything to know about her disappearance and the investigation. She was born May 20th, 1981 in New Jersey. Her parents raised her in Tampa, Florida. She attended Gaither High School in the late 90s, and then she enrolled in the University of Central Florida, where she studied finance and graduated with honors. Following graduation, she was hired to work for the timeshare company. She stayed friends with her childhood friends, and her childhood best friend, Lauren McCarthy, said that Kesse had chosen the particular condos where she bought her first home at because it was a gated community with a guard making her feel safe.
Right.
She was extremely safety conscious. She was very aware of her surroundings. She carried pepper spray with her all the time. She was the type of person who would call her mom or her dad or me when she was simply walking from Target in the parking lot if it was dark. Like she was, yes.
Being aware, not afraid.
That's right. And before her disappearance, she had taken a vacation to St. Croix with her boyfriend, Rob. When the couple arrived back in Florida on January 22nd of 2006, Kesse returned to her condo, but her boyfriend, Rob, went back to his home in Fort Lauderdale, which is right outside of Orlando.
Right.
Jen shared every detail about the trip. She was just really happy. She was on a cloud, her mom said. She was so excited, and she just was telling everybody about, her trip and how excited she was to get back to work. The day before she went missing, she spoke on the phone with her parents, and then she chatted with Rob, and they hung up around 10 p.m. And that was the last time Rob heard from her.
Right.
And when he didn't receive his usual morning text or call from her, he recalled thinking it was strange, so he decided to call her on his way to work, but it went straight to voicemail. And he just kind of like wrote it off saying, well, I know she's busy. She's been on vacation. She's got a lot on her plate. She's got a busy schedule. So he says,
He's not thinking anything bad.
No. And he says, so I left a message with her and then went about my day. And then he called her again and once again got her voicemail, which he thought was odd. By that point, her employer had realized she hadn't shown up for work without notice, which was unlike her. And a coworker contacted her parents. And that's when they went to the apartment and looked for, all the things that I described before.
Right.
So they're quite for sure that she slept in her condo and she got up as normal to go to work. And somehow between that and going to work, something happened. The locks on her condo door, her parents contacted the police and began reaching out to local hospitals and spoke to as many people in their daughter's condo complex as they could, and they were unable to find her. And the Kesse family actually had to convince police that their daughter had not left on her own volition. And on the night of January 24th, they actually began the investigation into her disappearance. Knowing time was of the essence, her parents got in touch with local media outlets and handed out missing persons flyers. And hundreds of people showed up to help with the search, covering the area surrounding her home, and there was no sign of her.
I mean, is this cold case solved? Or
No.
Do they have suspects?
So a witness from her condo complex believed they saw her car swerve out of the parking lot around 7:40 a.m., but they didn't know the direction it was headed. On January 26, her car was found abandoned in another apartment complex about a mile away. According to security footage, it had been parked there since 12 p.m. on the day she went missing.
Yeah.
No forensic evidence was found inside the car, which they believe was cleaned down.
That's strange.
With no one in the area knowing about the car or its driver ended up providing one of the biggest leads in the case. The car's abandonment was captured on a security camera, and the person behind the wheel was recorded exiting the vehicle and walking away. Unfortunately, their face was obscured, making it difficult to see. And this is way back in December 2006, so they're lucky they have that. We've done quite a bit of measuring and work with the camera angles and also had people of different heights walk by. We've come up with a height of between 5'3" and 5'4", and this has been backed by the FBI, who has come down and checked out the figures. And that reminds me of the case that you worked of the car accident with the truck hit the little girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people we tried to contact
I've not national companies, but I took it to some local producers, John Jackson, me and one of them, and they had all the equipment and we just couldn't get a clear enough image on the side of the truck.
Right. And so that's what, this family's doing. But they've also looked into security footage at the condos, but no cameras had been installed yet. A security guard who was hired to keep a log of visitors handed over incomplete records. I mean, people get complacent and so a complete set of keys for the complex had been stolen a month before she went missing. Police attempted to find forensic evidence inside her condo, and they discovered the scene had been compromised after several family members and friends used it as a gathering place.
Right.
The investigation continued for years, with many tips and leads coming up inconclusive. One of those tips led to a search of Lake Fisher in 2019. Investigators received information that around the time of Kesse's disappearance in 2006, a witness saw a pickup truck dump a 6 to 8 foot piece of rolled up carpet into the lake before driving away.
Yeah.
Dive teams searched the body of water for 2 days, but came up with no results. A sonar company looked closely at the area again in 2024, but didn't find the carpet. Evidence.
They have nothing.
Well, they have nothing, but NASA gets involved.
All right.
So evidence has also suggested that markings on her car could indicate that there was a violent struggle before she was taken somewhere. In photos taken of the vehicle shortly after it was found, handprints across the hood show there may have been an altercation. It looked like someone was thrown down on top of the hood, arms spread out, and then dragged back almost like off the hood where it could almost see fingers scribbling down the hood.
She probably got abducted getting into her car in the parking lot of the condo.
So now it gets interesting because NASA has played an unexpected role in her case early in the investigation. When police retrieved the video footage from the apartment complex, we said the quality was grainy, and they actually went to the government agency for help. And NASA was contacted to use their advanced technology to get a better look at the person of interest. But that didn't help. So years and years and years and nothing.
I thought this was going to be a good cold case.
This is not. This is one of those where Woody Overton.
This is a Barbara Blunt cold case.
Yes.
And where it's just not there. Even though I know what I know is certainly not there. And they probably know a lot more than what they're releasing in there, but you can't throw shade on a motherfucker just because you have it. But you got, unfortunately, so there's over 100,000 cold cases in the United States, and less than 1% ever get solved.
Yeah.
When we've solved 2 so far on real life real crime.
Right.
And that's not including the ones I solved in my police days. But like on this case, I would believe that they have more, or they have something to go on, but they just can't prove it enough yet. So that's why they're bringing this back up, and kudos for them for doing that. I think that, it just takes so much time and resources. And like we talked about earlier, people are older now and whatever, but I hate it. I hate it for it. It sounds like a snatch and grab and not a planned out deal.
I think it is a snatch and grab. Says there was renovations going on at her condo complex during that time, and she admitted to her parents, like she was talking to them on the phone, that she felt uncomfortable when she crossed paths with some of the workers doing the renovations. And she said, like, there's a lot of workers here, and they tend to just stop when I'm walking by or go into my car and they just look. So at least she shared that. But I mean, a lot of those workers.
Could have been anything.
Exactly.
Do you have a picture of her?
Yes. And I have a picture of the condos.
Oh, yeah, she's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
And so that ups the target range, It's sad. Kudos to her family and prayers that they'll get some kind of something. It's just the longer the case is cold, the less chance, that 1% chance goes way down. And it's just almost unheard of to get to solve one, especially that old. And when the guy, DNA, certain scenes like Miss Barbara Blunt's, there just wasn't any DNA. Everything got washed away. It was a perfect storm, literally. But somebody knows something. Call in your tips on this lady's case. Call in your tips, no matter how small. Like the one lady said, she saw a car turning out of the apartment complex. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something, and bodies don't just disappear.
No.
Miss Barbara Blunt's case, golly, same thing.
They've done everything
if I could tell you every tip that lifers have called in on Barbara Blunt's case and things like legit shit, the sheriff's office has gone out that I gave to them, investigated, looking body burial sites and stuff like that. I can't tell you about them, but they every time something comes in, they take it serious.
Yeah.
Just like I'm sure these investigators do.
Mm-hmm.
They want to solve the case. There's nothing I would love more than for them to find Miss Barbara's body.
Exactly.
So, but it happens, and that's the way crime happens, and some families never get justice.
Yeah.
But they got her, and hopefully one day it'll be solved, as we hope all cold cases will get solved.
Yeah.
I hate a motherfucker that gets away with a crime.
Yes.
So But that was a long one.
I know.
And it didn't have a happy ending, if you will.
No.
But it's all cold cases, I believe, should be addressed. I mean, at least brought up. And some of the families, that's all they want.
Yeah.
Is just give us some recognition. And then like Miss Stephanie, and when they buried Courtney Coco, she kneeled on the grave and said, no matter how long it takes, Mama's going to find your killer. Right. And I think it took us 18, 19 years to get it to trial and get the conviction.
But she kept that promise.
Yep, she did. And y'all, if you got a family member that's missing or whatever, don't give up. And don't just take the words for the investigators that, oh, yeah, we're working on da-da-da-da. Wear them out.
Yes.
Wear them out. Like on Courtney Coco's, we proved to you they were lying.
Yes.
And we got the recorded phone calls and, oh, yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. No, they weren't doing a fucking thing. Then meanwhile, they were telling other people it was an accidental overdose.
Right. And then when you went and met Miss Stephanie and the whole family the first time, you said you've never seen a case file so big from a family member.
Yep. They never gave up, and that was the most complete case file I ever got to work with.
Yeah. And then dealing with Miss Barbara, with Haley, you're getting the same thing, but in a new technology.
Clarify, not Miss Barbara Blunt, but Miss Barbara.
That's why I said with Haley. Yeah.
I know, but for the lifers, we were just talking about Barbara Blunt.
Yeah.
And Haley's mama's named Barbara.
Right.
For those of you that don't know.
Yeah. So she now has a different type of case file because what she has is, the technology that Miss Stephanie they didn't have that at that time. Can you imagine what Miss Stephanie would have had at that time?
Indeed. Yeah, because all the audios and videos, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. That's it for today. No mas, no more. We're done.
Finite.
And I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Cindy Overton.
We'll holler at y'all later. Peace.